Lesson 38, Course 3. We're going to do balancing equations, properties of equality. It's called balancing equations. Considered today as Law Day in math. The scales of justice must be balanced in math when we do equations. For example, what you should know, the scale of balance in math is addition and subtraction are inverse operations. They counteract each other. So do multiplication and division. Basically, if you did n plus 5 minus 5, you come back to n. Or if you did m times 5 divided by 5, you come back to m. So that's the key. That's how you make sure things are balanced. All right. So basically, one way you can do this is x plus 5 equals 12. And you know that we've done this in the past, that if we want to keep things balanced, the trick is we want to get the variable to itself. So the way I would do that is I'm going to write x plus 5 minus 5 equals 12 minus 5. And to keep things in balance, what you do on one side of the equal sign, you do on the other. And the trick is you want to get x by itself. So because 5 minus 5 is 0. But since I did it on one side, I have to do that on the other side. 12 minus 5 is 7. That's how I keep things in balance. So the rule is isolate the variable, get it by itself. It needs to be alone. So isolate the variable. And then do the operation on both sides of the equal sign. Okay? If you don't do that, you will. Now there are rules to help you remember. So we're going to talk about those rules: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And for all those rules, if A equals B, for all three of these rules, and these should be in your journals, or your notebooks, if A equals B, then if we could get this, A plus C equals B plus C, A minus C equals B minus C, A times C equals B times C, A divided by C equals B divided by C, if C is not 0. Okay, keep those rules in mind, make sure you have them charted out, and we're going to practice that. Look at example 1 on page 252. It says, after spending $2.30, Robert had $5.70. How much money did he start with? Okay, you're going to solve this equation. So he started with x. He took $2.30 away. He ended up with this. Now, we want to isolate the variable. So we do the isolate the variable by doing the inverse of what we're taking from the variable. Since we're subtracting, we're going to add $2.30 to both sides. X equals $5.70 plus $2.30, which means X equals $8. Okay? We talked about with magazines. If you had a 12-month subscription for a magazine that cost $8.40, what was the cost per month? The equation the book gives you is 12m equals $8.40. How much does it cost per month? Well, we have multiplication, and the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide on both sides. That makes my variable go by itself. M equals 8.4, because I could drop the extraneous 0, divided by 12. And when I divide 8.4 by 12, I get 70 cents. So make sure I write it simplified. M equals 70 cents. Now you need to write that variable. 2/3 W equals 3/4. Here's an equation. What do? I want to multiply both sides by 3/2. Why do I multiply both sides by 3/2? That isolates my variable. What do I get? W equals 9/8. Okay? I could make that a mixed number, and I can leave it, or I could leave it just as it is. Now, one final thing. The symmetric property of equality tells us this. If A equals B, then B equals A. So it means my variable can be on either side of the equal sign. An example of that is 1.5 equals x minus 2.3. Okay, I will solve this problem just like I did before. I'm subtracting, I want to isolate my variable, so I'm going to do the inverse and add. I get this. Now the symmetric property tells me I can flip this around to write x equals 3.8. And by the way, I could do that at any other step there. So we're going to be doing a lot of practice with balancing equations, but for now, give 254, A through I, a shot.